for freedom is the same as our fight for freedom in Afghanistan. It may have changed, whether it's the fight for freedom in Ukraine right now, where Europeans didn't think these kind of wars could happen anymore, and now we see China moving on Taiwan. We have an entity in the Chinese Communist Party taking a play out of the Soviet playbook 90 miles off of our coast. And we are coming together to wake the country up to that, what's going on, and to wake the country up to the oppression that's going on, and to send a clear message to all of these regimes that you can't divide us politically, that appeasement doesn't work, that we are going to commemorate the freedom fighters who are in prison right now on hunger strikes as we speak. That fight, I guess my bottom line is that fight for freedom doesn't have a timeline. It doesn't have an expiration date. It doesn't have a statute of limitations. And new generations of leaders in the Congress will continue to fight that fight. That's why we're proud to have new members here with us. But that I'll just leave it at that.
and then one more question, and then we're wrapping up.
One quick, but I also want to recognize Felix Rodriguez, the man who took down the monster Shaker bar. I think.
Regarding the restrictions against Cuba, President Trump puts them in place. Lately, as Congressman Schultz said, Biden has really not gone back to where President Obama was, but he has eased some remittances and some travel to Cuba. How does that affect the overall pressure that you guys are all calling for on the Cuban?
Well, and I'll to make this bipartisan, I'll give Debbie a chance to respond to the president's actions and perhaps Mario. I personally think, and let me tell you, in the House, anytime we have a Cuba-related question, I go to this man. He knows it, and he is my authority, and the whole conference looks at him. I will tell you, if it wasn't for Debbie, I think the restrictions would have been lifted. But people like Debbie standing up to the president saying, don't do this, because at the end of the day, you want maximum pressure on the administration and the regime. If you don't have maximum pressure, then it's not going to change. It's not going to fall. We're kind of beyond the days of, regime change. And again, we've lived through that. There are things we can do. And maximum pressure is one of them. Sanctions are one of them. Open technology, communication is another one. But for God's sakes, when that is the call. Michael's wicket.
I had an opportunity, along with Senator Menendez, to meet with President Biden in the Oval Office about these specific issues, that it was imperative that we not unilaterally, President Biden was not planning to begin with, but no unilateral lifting of sanctions, maintaining those sanctions and keeping the pressure on. But when it came to allowing reunification of families and ensuring that there was more ease in where we were in terms of being able to reunify families here in the United States and also to have visitation on the island with family members and those immediate family members. That small aperture was extremely important, and the support for that was also bipartisan. Now on remittances, the absolute critical thing that President Biden understood when he granted that provision in remittances is that there's no way that you could use a regime-owned facilitator of those transactions, because then the regime is propped up by the bringing in of those resources. So what they have done and continue to endeavor to do, they don't use any transmitting company that has ties to the government, and the entity that they do use is verifiably independent, and they're trying to make sure that those remittances are doing nothing except being able to improve the quality of life of people on the island that receive them and allow family members to bring those resources over.
Let me say, when it comes to the Foreign Affairs Committee, we have the Cuban that we turn to on the committee. She said, standing right behind me, Maria Salazar, and she has brought fresh passion of representing many Cubans here. She has brought her intelligence as a news reporter many years, and that's why I chose her to chair the Western Hemisphere Subcommittee, a very coveted position on the Foreign Affairs Committee. I don't know if you have some comments on that as well.
Well, thank you. Yes, I am honored. Es un honor que me hayan escogido ser la chairman o la jefa del subcomité de las Américas dentro del Comité de Relaciones Exteriores. Le agradezco muchísimo a él y es mi deber, porque representamos a la gente que nos puso aquí, tanto a Mario, a Debbie, la gente que nos puso y el nuevo compañero, el señor Moskowitz. Nosotros tenemos que representar a la gente que nos eligió y sabemos que en el sur de la Florida el tema de Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua son temas que están muy de cerca en el electorado y por eso estamos aquí. Es nuestro deber, it's our duty to be represented. So you said that I'm very, very honored that you picked me as the chairman of the subcommittee for the Americans. But basically all we're doing is we're representing the people who elected us. Thank God for the American electoral system. We would love to see that in Venezuela and Nicaragua. Thank you.
So now we have a special treat. El Funke is going to sing a very nice song.
A un día del año del 11 de julio, ustedes saben que ellos tratan de que olvide lo que no podemos hacer nosotros. Y nada, dice la canción, y ustedes están sobrando, ya no le queda nada, ya se van bajando, el pueblo se cansó de estar aguantando, un nuevo amanecer estamos esperando, se acabó, tu 5, 9, yo doble 2, ya se acabó. 60 años, no hace falta que den más años, libertad para los presos políticos, patria y vida y libertad para
All members. Yeah, here.